Yo, 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 what is up, my peeps? Jermaine Mancop here. We are back with another awesome video for you. Today we're going to make some predictions about what's going to be happening at Blizzcon. So buckle up. A lot of these are way out there. I'm likely wrong on all of them, but you never know. Somebody in this video that's talking right now perfectly predicted BFA. I'm just saying, you can go back and watch it on my LP channel. I might even link it. Anyway. So let's start out, we'll go up the launcher. And we'll start at the bottom of the launcher and go up through the games that I have any interest in. We'll start with Warcraft 3 Reforged. I think if you bought the game, the beta is going to be available during that speech for you to test a limited amount, maybe the Orc campaign, some custom maps. There'll be the official launch trailer for it, and the actual launch date instead of just before the end of the year. I don't have too much more to that because it is just a kind of a remaster, so there's not too much more that they can do about that. So let's move up the launcher to StarCraft/StarCraft 2. I think, and this is a big one because I don't play StarCraft, so I don't know, but I just get this feeling that they're going to announce StarCraft 3. They'll give you a little teaser trailer. It won't be available until early 2021. Maybe a couple of new playable races and a new story with a brand new threat. That's about all, because I don't play StarCraft, so it's one of those ones I always meant to play, but I never had a chance to. So let's move to Overwatch. I think they're going to announce an Overwatch quote-unquote 2. They'll give you an announcement trailer, but this isn't really Overwatch 2. It's a single-player RPG, not a replacement for Overwatch 1, where you kind of get the backstory of the terrorist organization. I forget what the name is off the top of my head. I want to say Talon, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. And the Overwatch itself, maybe the war of the mechanical, what do they call it, Omnics, told very similar to the way that the Warcraft and StarCraft stories were told, but instead of being an RTS, we're going to be an FPS. It's going to be action. It's going to be told in chapters through different races, and you go through, instead of races, it'll be heroes. So maybe you'll go through Tracer's story, or May's story, or Reaper's story, in the way that you would go through the human, or the orcs, or the Protoss, and the Zerg stories in Warcraft, StarCraft. Heroes of the Storm, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about, but I imagine maybe let's just shoot the moon. A lot of minor announcements, say 6 new heroes and 3 new maps, and a fully fleshed out single-player campaign. Okay, let's move on. Hearthstone. I'm thinking they're going to announce a new expansion called The Retaking of Dalaran, and a new solo dungeon, The Sewers of Dalaran. Maybe they'll announce a new keyword even. Broken, similar to how your Zephyrus works, or your Discover spells works. You can cancel one game aspect of your opponent's class, such as armor or spells or weapons, for a single turn, so they can't use them. They need to have up destroyed, broken. That might be too overpowered. I don't know. I'm very casual when I play Hearthstone, so. Diablo, I have no idea about Diablo. I've never played it. One of these days I'm just going to go through and play Diablo 1, 2, and 3. Probably in order, because I can't stand playing stuff like that out of order. But I expect an announcement trailer for it. Expect a joke about you all having phones. So maybe the announcement trailer will be someone talking into a long-distance communication spell or something. You all have long-distance communication spells, don't you? Something like that. Blizzard's really good at taking the mick out of themselves. So, okay, let's move on to the big thing. My favorite part of it, hopefully yours, who knows. World of Warcraft. Obviously, this is an expansion announcement year, so I'm going to shoot the moon and tell you something, and I've been saying this since Battle for Azeroth was announced. I think it's going to be a Lich King-esque expansion. I'm going to say the name's going to be something like Nerubian Shadows, or Shadows of Nerubia, or Shadow of Nerubia, something like that. There's going to be a new content, Nerubia, or the Underdark, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to basically be the underground of Northrend. and it'll probably, you know, be, it might even be a bigger than that. It might be the underground of all the continents that we're used to, wherever there are any of the Akir or Silithid or obviously the Nerubians, any of those races that were formed, that were part of the Black Empire. Expect the level cap to be raised to 130. If there's going to be a new class, I don't know, Stalker, a shadowy warrior who is a physical melee DPS who uses shadows as his main weapon. It's kind of like you combine, say, a combat rogue, shadow priest, and maybe even I don't know, unholy death knight. Combine those three into a new class. We'll call it Stalker. I don't really know if they're going to give a new class, but if they are, that's kind of what my guess would be. They're going to give us new races. I would say we'll probably get ogres for the Horde. It's been long enough coming. And maybe Tuskar for the Alliance. Fits the Northrend, under Northrend kind of theme. Say some new BGs will probably be announced. Let's say an epic battleground would be something like the retaking of Kazan. You know, it wasn't actually destroyed by Deathwing. So it would be key to have kind of lots of interesting parts of that where you could you know, have lots of capture points that would add special abilities to your side, and the points would be in how many of the players that you on the other side you kill, and you have to accumulate so many players and have so many capture points at once, and you know, it can go back and forth quite a bit because, you know, maybe you have to have 5 capture points out of the 9 on the island to win, and points can be captured and recaptured. But you also have to have 10,000 points, let's say. So you have to have 5 capture points and 10,000 resource points and kill the opposing commander. You know, kind of sprinkle that in. You could go back and forth, and maybe you kill the opposing commander first, and there's a way to resurrect him for the other side. Stuff like that. And maybe add a normal battleground, something like Stranglethorn Tactics, you know. Back in vanilla, I think there was an island where you would go to get Zandalari rep, and that kind of is missing. So maybe we turn that into a battleground, and you know, we make it a bit more simple. Maybe something Eye of the Storm like, where you capture the flag and there's a few resource points as well. I think with the new expansion, there's going to be a new artifact. I think this time they'll probably put it in a ring slot. I kind of like that idea myself. We'll say that they're going to call it the Will of Azeroth, and it'll work very similar to the way the neck piece works right now. The neck piece that we'll have to depower to finally either imprison N'Zoth or destroy him, or, you know, send him back to the void, or whatever we do, which of course is not none of those are good options, by the way. Because as we know, that when the Titans discovered from killing an old god, it could destroy the planet to kill an old god. So, of course, we'll get an announcement trailer. We get some story stuff that's not really related to the main story. You know, the way we got that the Undercity and Teldrassil were going to be destroyed, but we didn't know how or how it was going to relate to the story when Battle for Azeroth was announced. So the little bits of lore that we're going to get, I'm going to say Gilneas is retaken by the Alliance and becomes the new home for the Night Elves and Worgen. Maybe a new starting zone for them. Maybe not, I don't know. Teldrassil is taken by the Horde, and the underside of Teldrassil becomes the home to the Forsaken. I'm going to say that Sylvanas' location is unknown for most of at least the start of the next expansion. But she's not the big bad, because we know she's not the big bad of this expansion. We're going to see that Thrall is being forced into the role of War Chief of the Horde, and he is not happy about it or the state of the Horde, and he's going to be way more aggressive than we've ever seen Thrall. Way less green Jesus, way more angry orc. Something is wrong with Anduin too. Maybe there's tensions with Malfurion and Tyranda's missing. I think if they announce the big bad of the expansion, it's going to be Bolvar. Tagline to that will be, we no longer need a Lich King. Now let's go into the big one, and the big reason why I think this is a Lich King-esque expansion. We're finally going to get Allied Race and Pandaren Death Knights, with a new Death Knight starting area, and lots of new lore. Because Bolvar, as I said, I think he's the big bad in the next expansion. With all the crap that he's been doing, and it's only right. But that new DK starting area is only going to be for the new DKs, like the new Allied Race and Pandarens and, the new races ones. And kind of finally, did I talk about that? Yeah. The story, I think, also is going to feature a redemption arc for not only Sylvanas, but Arthas as well. One on the ally side, one on the horde side, and not the way you think. The final thing I think they're going to announce, and this is something we talked about in our stream yesterday when I was hashing things out with my good buddy Metro there. I think there's going to be a major revamp to the Warcraft engine coming. In fact, probably an entirely new engine, but with all the, the old content brought over. So not a World of Warcraft 2, and it's not going to cost players anything, but just a way to bring Warcraft into a little bit more of a modern engine, since the engine we're using is essentially a layered over 15-year-old engine that's been updated and updated till the end of time. When this is finished, and we all have to download, a 100 gigabyte launcher or 100 gigabyte game or what have you, the trade-off to that they're going to give us is player and guild housing will become available. Guild halls will have to be in one specific spot in your faction capital, and it'll be instanced to guild members only. Player housing can be in any zone in a specified spot, so each zone on the map will have one spot where you can put your house, and it'll be instanced or phased, but you can invite other players without inviting them to your party. So say I wanted to have Metro, I'd just click a specific brand new button and said, hey, you're welcome in my housing, and he could come into my housing. I know there's a problem with that when it comes down to, what if both of our housings is in the same place? Well, I think there'd be a switch that you can flip for that occasion. And that's about it, guys. I think that's about all the things that I can think of that's going to happen at BlizzCon. What do you think is going to happen at BlizzCon? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Do that YouTube thing, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share. All that stuff is good for the channel. None of it's bad. I think that's about my time. We've been recording for way too long. So I'm going to let you all go. Take care. We'll see you next time. Peace. Cop out.